Okay, guys, in this video, we are going to look at the hardest example of the method of elimination. And this is where you are going to have to multiply both equations by some number. And what they're asking us is what is the simplest possible pair of numbers you can think of so that you can multiply the first and second equation to eliminate y. Again, you can do the same thing with x. In this case, they just want y. Doesn't matter. Okay, so let's take a look at what we have. So we've got 3x minus 5y, we've got negative 1. And then we have 7x plus 9y equals negative 23. All right. So if you're asking yourself, okay, to eliminate y, what can I multiply 9 by so that it cancels with negative 5? Now, you could actually come up with a fraction answer. That would actually be 5 over 9. You could do that, but then you're going to get lots of fractions, and I'm not so sure that that's going to be fun, okay? So here is what I suggest. When you have a situation like that, multiply the 5 by 9 and multiply 9 by 5, okay? So in other words, what you're going to do is multiply the first equation by 9, okay? And then multiply the second equation by 5. Now, so it's like the opposite. You see the 5 by 9, but 9 by 5. Now, you also need to make sure that when you do that, you get the opposites. So they should have a minus and a plus, which will cancel out. Because if you have two pluses, that's not going to work, and two minuses is not going to work. So you have to be careful with that. So like, for example, you would make a mistake if you said, oh, I just have to multiply maybe by negative 9. I don't know why you would say that, but you want to make sure that they're opposites. So 3x plus 3x will not cancel. Okay, so you got to be careful. A lot of times students mess up with that. All right, so what do we get if we do that? So first, let's go ahead and multiply throughout. So when you multiply, you have to multiply by every single term. And then we're going to do the same thing here. Every single term will be multiplied by 5, not just the one that we're interested in. So what are we going to get then? Well, we'll get 27x minus 45y equals negative 9. And again, you can do that on the calculator. In fact, I would strongly suggest you do. Just check, what is 9 times negative 5? What is 9 times negative 1? Okay, 5 times 7 is 35x. And then we got plus 45y, right? Equals, well, what is 5 times negative 23? So you can do this on a calculator, but I think it's going to be negative 115. Okay, so if we do that, what's happening now? So now we see we got negative 45y and positive 45y. What happens with that? Well, they cancel out. We eliminated that y. Okay, elimination. So what happens on 27 on the left hand side? 27x plus 35x. Again, just use a calculator. That's going to be 50. No, 7 plus 5 is 12, right? So this is going to be 62. X equals, on the other side, we're going to get negative 115 minus 9. So that's going to be negative, so it's really like addition, right? So it's going to be negative 124. But you can check my work by just using a calculator. What is negative 9 plus negative 115? And then finally, what we'll do is we'll get rid of that 62. So we're going to have to divide both sides by 62. Remember, this operation is multiplication. So to undo the multiplication, you're going to divide. And then you're going to see that what will happen is 62 and 62 will cancel. And so you're going to wind up with x equals, and then here we'll get negative 2. Okay. So we said that we're going to multiply the first equation by the other number, by 9, and the second equation by the other number, which would be 5. All right, so let's multiply the first equation by 9. So we got 27x minus 45y equals negative 8. Negative 9. And then the second equation we multiplied by 5. So 35x plus 45y. That was equal to, okay, negative 23 times 5. Let me do this right here just to make sure. Okay, negative 115. And then when we added them, we got Well, 27 plus 35, that's 62. And then on the other side, we had negative 124. We divided and we got negative 2. Okay, so once we got negative 2, what are we going to do next? Well, next we are going to take this x and we're going to substitute that into either the first or the second equation. I'm just going to go ahead and substitute it into the first equation. Okay, so it's going to be 3 times negative 2, and the other thing we're just going to keep the same. So multiplication is first. This is going to be negative 6. And we want to get rid of that negative 6 first. So we want to add 6 to both sides. Okay? And that'll cancel it on this side. And then we're going to get negative 5y equal to positive 5. Okay? So to solve that, what are we going to do? Well, we want to isolate y. Remember, this is multiplication. Opposite multiplication is division. So we're going to divide both sides by negative 5. And that is going to give us 5 divided by negative 5, which is negative 1. So that tells me that y equals negative 1. And my solution is negative 2, negative 1. Now, I am going to check it because if I were you, I would absolutely do that. Let's actually clear this. Okay, so I will retype the left-hand sides of my system, but instead of the variables, I'm going to leave parentheses, empty parentheses. Okay? And I am going to check. I'm going to stick the x and the y in here into the parentheses and see if that is going to match the right hand side. And it absolutely does, so I know that this is right.